barefoot walking is not some kind of like magic pill. Hey there, Rafi from ProActive Rehab and Wellness, and today we're going to answer the question, can barefoot walking really help decrease pain from plantar fasciitis? Now, if you've been following us for any length of time, you know we've done a number of articles, we've published some videos, even a couple books, ebooks on the idea of barefoot and minimalist footwear and running and how that can affect, running injuries and the like. Recently, though, I've been noticing the circulation of a chart that is from an article that was published this year in 2024 that was comparing the pain perceptions or pain scale ratings of participants in a study that were randomized into either a group that was doing a walking program in bare feet versus in shoes or shod foot walking, they would say. And what is surprising to many people is that the participants in the study who were walking around and completing the walking program for 4 weeks in barefoot rather than with shoes experience a much more significant decrease in their pain. Now, side note, I'll link to the articles. You can go check them out for your own research and all that. But the 4-week walking program did make improvements in both groups. So it's not that one group ended up with all of these benefits and the group that was wearing shoes ended up with no benefits at all. They both received benefits. The participants who were doing the barefoot walking program received more of a benefit. So it just goes back to an idea that we talk about a lot in the clinic, that we talk about with any patient that comes in for whatever ailment, shoulder, wrist, foot, ankle, knees. Sometimes the best medication that we've got for pain is movement, is strengthening, is getting the body used to moving in whatever movement pattern is causing the pain. A lot of times you get what's called like a protective mechanism. If you think about what pain is just your brain telling your body, stop doing that because you're going to cause damage. Whether that damage is real or perceived, even if it's a threat of pain, you're going to receive a pain response. So sometimes just simply doing the activity will build up the strength. That strength builds resiliency. The resiliency tells your brain and your nervous system, this is not a dangerous movement, this is not a dangerous position, and you get an automatic reduction in pain just from that, just from the fact that you're moving and strengthening in the body in that area, whatever the body part that you're focusing on is. So there is benefit to doing a walking program even with shoes if you have plantar fasciitis. So don't let that barrier prevent you from participating in any kind of movement. Any movement is good movement, in my opinion. So what I am going to do is point you to another study, because I've seen this chart circulating the internet, the interwebs, if you would, and a lot of people are saying, oh, barefoot walking, this is a new study, yada, yada, yada. The reality is we've been getting some of this. The research has kind of pointed us in this direction for many years. Even in 2018, so 6 years ago, give or take, there was another study that came out, and the title of the study, let me read it here, is Can Foot Exercises and Going Barefoot Improve Function, Muscle Size, Foot Pressure During Walking, and Qualitative Reports of Function in People with Flat-Footed Disorders? So this article here that I'm citing now is the basis for what we call our core 4 foot exercises here in the clinic. Those are available for free to download on our website, and I'll link to that below as well. But basically what they did was it was an 8-week program, and these people had flat foot disorder. Now, that means the arches of their foot weren't like this, they were flat, right? So they gave these people 4 exercises to do, and two of them were the same. It's just you were doing one sitting, one standing. So foot doming, so almost like you're trying to build that arch up. It's called doming your feet. And then plantar flexion and inversion. So they were pointing their feet down and in, and then toe spreading. Those are the only 4 exercises they gave them. And then on top of that, they asked them to do barefoot weight bearing or just walking around in bare feet for a minimum of 2 hours a day for 5 days out of the week. And what they discovered from that research study was that even though they weren't doing any calf muscle exercises, they weren't doing heel raises or anything like that. Although no calf training was included, heel rise repetition, which was just a test, they asked them how many heel raises can you do in a row, increased in this group that was doing these 4 exercises in the barefoot weight bearing. The arch of their foot was beginning to form again. And the interesting thing too, which was more exciting, especially in the therapy world, we're always dealing with people that for one reason or another do not complete their exercises. Maybe they're too cumbersome, there's too many, they're too difficult, maybe they're painful. The compliance rate for the exercises was 87.7%, so almost 90%, almost 9 out of 10 people that were in the study completed the exercises 5 times a week, which is amazing. But the barefoot component of it, or the barefoot weight bearing component, was actually, the compliance was 111% of the targeted time for the barefoot weight bearing, which also tells you something. One, it means that in a population where people tend to not complete their home exercise programs and not do what is being recommended to improve their pain and increase their function, something as simple, a simple command like walking around in your bare feet, obviously was not causing so much pain that it stopped people from doing it. And the people that were participating in it participated in it for more time, 111%. So more time than was recommended. So they were getting benefit beyond just the minimum that was required or recommended. So anyways, just my thoughts on that yes, we know walking around in bare feet is good, that barefoot weight bearing is good to promote decreased pain from plantar fasciitis, increased intrinsic foot strengthening. And I've said this multiple times, that barefoot walking is not some kind of like magic pill. You don't need barefoot shoes. They help, but it's not a magic pill in and of itself. The benefits that you receive from walking around in your bare feet, doing some of these exercises, like these core 4 exercises, really highlights it, in fact, is that what happens when you remove all that excess cushion, maybe the heel rise and the narrow toe box of a normal shoe, is that you end up getting one more feedback. So the bottom of your feet is getting a whole lot more sensory input, which helps you adjust your gait, especially when you're running or something like that. And then just the mechanism of walking that way creates a strengthening feedback for the muscles, the intrinsic muscles in your feet. So it's not so much that, walk around barefoot and that's the magic thing. You can get the benefits of barefoot walking with some of these exercises. You can get them from walking around barefoot. You can get them from, wearing shoes like this. These are my last pair of Morel vapor gloves. You can see I've kind of torn the hole in there in the last 5K I ran with them. I actually think, there's the soles are totally tearing apart. Or you can get something like even these Zero shoes, something like this, where you see there's a lot of there's lack of support. There's not all this stack height and this thick cushion that's preventing that input from getting to your feet from your nervous system. And then as you can see too, there's also like a wider toe box. So your feet, instead of being all squished in like they are on regular shoes, they have space to spread out, which again is good for preventing a lot of the issues that you see with just standard plantar fasciitis, bunions even, the pointed like dress shoes you see for men are really, really pointed sometimes at the tip. That kind of puts your big toe pointed in towards your other toes, which can cause some issues. So what I want people to understand is not so much that there's like a magic bullet out there, but that it is a series of little factors that all added together means that you can get some real benefit and relief from pain, especially from things like plantar fasciitis and flat foot deformity, by doing some very basic things. So instead of thinking like, okay, I've got this pain in my foot, what I need to do is not walk on it. I need to put it in a brace. I need to put a lot of cushion in my feet. The research has been pointing us for a very long time, like I said, the better part of a decade now. The research has been pointing towards what we really need to be doing is focused on as much movement as possible, barefoot weight bearing through the feet, strengthening those intrinsic foot muscles, and that in and of itself, the strengthening, the barefoot weight bearing, the maybe altering some of the gait mechanics a little bit, is going to decrease the pain And it's also gonna strengthen the muscles, which is good, which is gonna build that resiliency, decrease some of that fight or flight even, or some of the nervous system responses that are saying, hey, whoa, we've got pain in this foot, or we've got an injury in this foot, we need to lock it down, and that's when you get a lot of that pain as well. So again, I'll link to everything in the show notes. If you want to learn more about transitioning to barefoot shoes, or running and training in barefoot shoes or minimalist shoes, check out our resource. We've got a couple of them. One of them is called the Natural Runner, and the other one is called 8 Weeks to Barefoot Running. I'll link to both of those in the show notes as well. Or you can check out the free download that we've got, the core 4 foot exercises, which outline those 4 exercises that I mentioned at the beginning, and then the barefoot weight bearing. So again, check it out, proactivehealth.com.